Welcome to the Growth and Banter Podcast. My name is Blake McCullough, CEO and founder of GMS Media Group, one of Australia's leading digital advertising and advisory firms. This podcast is for anyone looking to learn the insights and strategies from industry leaders and how to lead a successful life. Today, we're joined by Alex Phillips from PPD, and number one agent 9 years running in a row. He's going to be sharing his story, his growth, and what's going to be happening in the property market in the next 3 to 5 years. Hope you enjoy. Welcome, AP.
Blake, thanks for having me. Yeah, good to see you.
Likewise. Mate, you're easily probably the busiest person I know in real estate, so appreciate taking the time.
That's why we're here at 7 a.m.
That's right. Get it done quickly.
Yeah.
But I want to start off by going into your backstory. I think, you've got a great profile, but understanding how you initially got into property, becoming the number one agent 9 years in a row, and obviously creating PPD.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Blake. It's a pretty interesting story. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I left school. I went to a private school.
Like we all do.
I didn't do it.
No idea.
I had no idea. I didn't really do any good at school. Like, I did like it, but, the school I went to, everyone was sort of told what they were going to be by their parents. I'm going to be a lawyer, banker, whatever. My parents never pushed me to do anything. My dad and my grandfather were all car dealers, and there's a lot of sort of sales in the blood of the Phillips family. So I think that sort of flowed through to me. My four brothers and my sister all sort of in some sort of sales role. But I actually went down to the Australian Hotel School in Canberra to I wanted to get into hospitality.
Oh, really?
Went there for a week and got kicked out of there basically.
Poured a few beers and see ya.
Yeah. And then I decided I'd try real estate. So I did a 1-year diploma at Macleay College, and back then McGrath was like the up and coming biggest real estate agency, in the eastern suburbs or in Sydney. And I approached all the lead agents. I did a handwritten note to all the lead agents here and got a response from a couple of them, and then I started my real estate career there, which was the best foundation I could have. They were like at the forefront of the new way of selling real estate, marketing, selling property. That just the whole dynamics of real estate changed with the way John McGrath changed things, and really sort of set me up and many of my friends now and competitors into where we are today. I was there for 3 years. Then, 5 years working for Pauline Goodyear. I was her assistant, she was like the number 2 agent at McGrath for many years, and sitting in an open plan office, which is, I've been very lucky with throughout my whole career is, unlike I see with some agencies, it's sort of in glass boxes and whatnot, I still sit in an open plan office amongst all the team.
Be amongst the action.
Yeah, be amongst it. And you just learn a lot. Like, just listening, hearing, asking questions. I did that all the way through, learned off like all the best agents, in Sydney then, and that really sort of got me going into, becoming, to where we are today.
And PPD, with your 2 other partners, what was the transition and move into creating PPD?
Yeah, we were originally Goodyear Donnelly with Pauline Goodyear. That business dissolved. We just parted ways. Debbie, Jason, and I, and then started, Phillips Panzer Donnelly. We've, changed it to PPD. So it's not about us, it's about the brand. We've got a great culture in our offices. There's 3 offices. We sell, 600 to 700 properties a year, about $2 billion worth of real estate in the East. It's a big business. Consistently, we're doing that year in, year out. We've also got a big property management division of 1,300 managements. In the last 10 years, we've done like about, close to close to 20 billion in sales.
Yeah,
wow. We've leased like 1,400 properties. So they're 2 really good businesses. They work well with each other. What's different about us is we're not a franchise. We all collaborate, all work with each other. We've got one database. We all get along. We don't compete. If we do compete, we do listings together. The competition is not in the office; it's outside the office.
So you're not working in silos. You're working as a bigger team.
No, exactly. I believe most real estate businesses are silos, and that's really the main reason why we started it. And Jason runs a business. I'm very lucky that he likes doing that. I like selling. Debbie does a lot of the back end stuff as well. So
you've all got your individual roles.
Yeah. We're not. There's always challenges, but we've been doing it for a long time. We're all friends, and we've got we're very lucky and blessed. We've got a great business.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you're 9 years in a row, number one agent in Australia. That's no easy feat, and also being able to manage that. What do you feel, and how do you feel like you've been able to sustain such a great personal brand, and also continue to sort of maintain that spot?
Blake, I'm a very driven person. You could probably imagine by that. I think what I've got out of that is how consistent we are, and everything we do is just it's a routine, and it's the day in, day out, doing everything really well, doing it with passion, love, like making sure you actually enjoy it, which I'm very lucky that I don't see my job as a job. Like I don't get burnt out, I don't get stressed. Like it's just I just love it.
Yeah, cool.
And I think that's the big differentials. Like there's like a lot of passion there that like it sets us apart from anyone else, and that shows in how we sell our properties and deal with clients. So, the number one agent, it's a great thing. It does get a lot of business for us. Like it's on my email. Like it's pretty hard when I don't really talk about it though in listings. Like sometimes I do, but really like probably 1 in 20. All it means to the vendor is that we've got the most experience. We do the most transactions. We meet the most buyers. We know how to close out properties. But what keeps me driven is making sure that I can be the number one every year. Like to get 10 years in a row will be pretty amazing if we can do that this year, and that hopefully just keeps going.
Yeah, awesome. And obviously that's credited not just to yourself, but PPD as a wider network, and then also your immediate team. And I know that you talk very highly of your team, and that there's a lot of systems that goes in that. Prue being in the mastermind and sort of the engine behind the team that you run. So what do you feel like is the biggest difference between your team and other individual teams in the property market?
Yeah, I was talking to Ivan Brezic this morning, who's one of my real estate coaches, and I think I'm really lucky that every team member offers something different. We all get along. Like, Kenji's been with me for 9 years, Prue 11 years, Gavin 8 years, Vince I think 7.
Vinny boy.
Yeah, Vinny. Tom's like just on 2 years. So Prue's been in real estate 30 years. I've been in real estate 22 years. There's a combined like 80 years experience in our team. Like that's very hard to beat when we compete against like the best agents in Australia. But what sets us apart is our team. Like there's no one that comes anywhere near us. Like the guys in my team are actually better than most of the agents we compete against. But when you work with people for so long, you obviously get to know like what pushes them, how to work as a unit and work together collaboratively, so you actually get the best out of each day. Like, and that's what we do. Like we talk to each other, we sit next to each other, or probably most of the phone calls I make during the day actually would be 50% of my calls would be to the team. Yeah, well, various like saying what's happening, how are you, like where you're at. So there's a lot of like the comms are super high, and we all know each other's place, and we all get along, and there's no ego. There's no. There's zero, like it's just work ethic. Like when you've been into our office, it's not like fucking who's the best and like Alex is the best and and Vince is the best or Kenji's the best. It's just like just get in and do the hard work. Yeah,
and I got that vibe straight away. I mean, obviously I've known you for a little bit, but being able to then go into the office and meet the team, it was authenticity. You guys all working together for one common cause, and I did feel that in the office for sure. Yeah. Last year you had a really good record of that 1 billion in property. I don't know if you had done that prior years, but I saw that pop up, and again, that's an amazing feat. I'm sure not many other individual teams can do. Some of the strategies around that, like aside from the team and the collaboration you're doing, and jumping on the calls to your team, I think that's a big one, because a lot of people just hide behind the emails, or I've got an internal system called Slack that we all communicate on, but if you go into our office, because we are more digital, we're very much more stuck to our phones. Our computer, I should say. So having to always draw that back into more human interaction. But those strategies around getting that $1 billion of property, and I've heard yourself making still up to 650 calls a week. Like what's some of the main keys do you think of being able to create that?
Yeah, I think if I wind back to like where real estate was when I started 22 years ago, we still do exactly that, but faster, better, a higher volume, and we've integrated technology with it. So what I mean by that is like it's still like me sitting here today and seeing you and your body language, you don't get that on an email.
That's right.
Like you get so much more out of like sitting in front of someone. So like even on Monday, we're trying to get a sale done in Bondi and they have a house to sell. So we've set up a meeting to go see them. So let's sit down with you, get the offer from you, and we want to discuss your house. Most agents would probably say, you send me an offer on email or send them a text saying, can you send me an offer? Like what it actually does is, one, you get a lot more out of someone, you build up a high level of trust. There's just so much. I've always been like a people person, but yeah, I think these days, and you've just said it yourself, like you can hide behind emails. Rejection is a big thing, and rejection in front of someone is hard. And I think that's probably why a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
But the issue is with emails and technologies, there's less you don't have that personal touch.
Yeah. And people become more trigger happy. It's just like, I get some of my clients and they'll be writing emails. They might be disgruntled, or they might be taking something, they might be confused with a certain thing we're doing, and it just goes down a rabbit hole on an email, and you can't resolve something. You get on the phone to them and they're a completely different character and personality. Yeah,
exactly. It's I'm the worst like that on email. Like I can be quite harsh and direct, so I know that. So I've learned to think first, probably marinate on it for a day, then like just going like this and fucking getting aggravated.
Sleep on it.
Yeah, sleep. But the picking up the phone, you definitely get so much more out of it. And I think probably we're lucky that that's the industry where, I imagine your industry, advertising, like everyone's like behind computers and
it's too digital.
It's too digital.
Digital. Like I'm literally having to tell my team, get on the fucking phone, and I'm even now, because I'm sort of more front end facing, doing the sales, networking, sort of being a bit more of the phrase. My business partner, Simon, he's more back end and operations. And, I got on some of the client calls yesterday, and out of that one conversation with a client, we've got, a testimonial, a referral from another business, a renewal of a contract, all in one go. And you just can't get that on an email.
No, you can't, definitely not. And emails, like I get so many a day, like you miss, like, and it's so easy for someone to go, okay, Blake's emailed me to sign a contract, fucking see, like it's easy for them to hide from it, and delete it or just forget about it. So to getting in front of them, you do get a lot more out of it.
And then with the amount of like fucking spam and AI shit going on, you don't know what's real or not. On
exactly.
Anyway. What do you feel has been the hardest lesson for you over the years?
Probably what I did really well early on, which was letting go. But the letting go is because I had a great team. So I mean letting go of like stuff that is non-dollar productive. Like so many agents are like, so an agent lists a property, all right, they have to sign an agreement, they have to do the paperwork, they have to book in the marketing meeting, they've got to approve the photos with the vendor saying, I like this photo, this word's not right. I haven't seen that for 15 years. Like that to me is just like, that's what Prue does. Like outsourcing, letting go. It was a hard lesson, but it's just made my life so much easier. And I think that's what, I said this at Ivan Brezick's training the other day at his, conference, that you need to do what you're, like what I said in his conference with other agents is, what you should do in a listing appointment is talk about what you're good at. Like some agents are good at prospecting, finding buyers. Some agents are good at, sitting in front of a buyer and closing them out, and talk about what your good part of your.
So leaning into your point of difference and USP.
And that's what you should be doing each day. And like, if you've got something that's clogging you up, that you got to let go of it. So letting go was like hard, but the best thing I ever did.
Yeah. Awesome. And aside from, the stats around being number one, $1 billion of property, what are some of the other achievements that you feel you're most proud of?
Building PPD and having a great, team and culture. And I like, when you've seen guys like within the business double their income or buy their first house or have their first child, like they're all little things that are nice to see. And like, Even Tom the other day bought his first car in my team. Like, so I remember buying my first car. I was like, the fucking one of the best days of your life.
Seriously.
It is.
Freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Just the smell of that new leather. Like that. Like, and that's because, he works hard and he's flourished in our team. And like, they're little things that you've probably, because I've done that you forget about, but that's such a big thing for them. Like that's the good part of it. And I like being generous to my team and looking after them, because they do put in hard work. Like, I've been on the phone to some of them at 6 o'clock this morning, like breaking their balls. So,
And I think that level of respect you guys have for each other, I'm sure like a lot of other teams wouldn't even answer their boss's call that early, Yeah. And there's like this whole movement around like...
We were talking about the other day, what's that new law that's coming where you can't...
What the fuck?
I said, you guys would be out of a job. I'd be probably in jail.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. I can't believe
what
the
is
media.
it with something you can't...
it's illegal to be messaging staff out of normal work hours on the contract.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I said to my guys, if you want a quarter of your income, we can do that. They all laugh. But I don't know.
If you want a second-hand car, not a new car.
Yeah. That's the thing with real estate. It's a 24-hour job, and that's why I have so many holidays, because you got to you got to get out.
Yeah, you got to switch off.
Yeah, you can't have a holiday on the same time zone. You got to be fucking somewhere where you can't be contacted.
Yeah, I had one of my clients on recently. They've got a niche dog, a sort of pet wear company. So they do like staffy dog durable products. Anyway, they've got a big niche, and he sort of called it a work-life blend rather than a work-life balance. So it's like integrating the two.
Yeah, and that's something that I've done. Like, I do 10 weeks holiday every year. But in those 42 weeks, it's fucking game on.
Game on, yeah.
So you can't. I've done that. That's probably what's given me the longevity for like having. You asked about 9 years of being number one. There's so many agents we compete against. They're all year round. They're probably working at 60%. We're 100% for 40 weeks. It's not, it's different. It's the circuit breaker. A lot of people don't have, I mean, like, the circuit breaker in the way, like, I do the same thing every day. I get up at 4 o'clock. I go fucking go to the gym. I have have breakfast. I leave the house exact same minute every morning. Yeah, I leave the house at 5:55 every single morning.
Yeah, so you've created a system.
But you can't do that. Like, you can't do that every day for 365 days. You go insane. Yeah. Normally I go away in October for a week or two. This year I didn't, but I just did 2 weeks of no training, got up at 6, went to work in like casuals. Like, I just sort of mentally like remove myself and worked at like 80%, and it's helped me. People burn out, and also you get aggravated and you lose business. You stop making those phone calls you should be making.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think also, like, I love taking time off to be able to give my team a bit of a rest from my bullshit sometimes, but also
let them grow. I actually find when I go, because they grow, because I'm not over the top of them. I divert my phone to them when I'm overseas. Like, I'm overseas sometimes for 5 weeks. I reckon I make 20 phone calls.
Yeah, well.
But then they're out there trying to list property, sell property. They're missing listings. They've got clients fucking breaking their balls saying, "Where's Alex? Why is he away?" But all these things are learning curves, and like, it means that, like, and I see this like too many lead agents or people in business micromanage other people around them. You got to let them fail.
100%.
And then they learn more. They build more. They get more confident in themselves. Yeah. It's actually a really good part of our business. Like, them just being on their own, and they still work hard. It's definitely it's something I recommend for all businesses, and particularly if you're managing teams.
For sure. Yeah, and I think, like, being able to switch off and then just. For me, those creative juices start flowing. You start thinking a little bit differently, and you come back with more ideas and injecting that into the business too. Yeah. Culture is obviously a key thing. Any common thread with brands that we work with that are successful, no matter what the industry is, there's always an element of culture that they inject into their team. I know that you guys do a fair bit and give back to the community. What's some key things to really sustain that culture? And obviously, you've got quite high retention with your team. What are you doing to sort of drive that culture?
It's probably culture. Something I've learned, like when we employed Tom last year, the way we employed, I will employ someone into my team, is it took us 6 months to find someone. And so what we did, we actually had people come and work for us for 1 or 2 days, and like 6 out of 10 just like, after 4 hours, like, fuck, this is like get out of jail free card. Like, there's just little things, they're not going to be molded or they're not going to fit. The team from the top probably comes from me as a person that was so fucking serious at work. But at the same time, we have so much fun.
Like, being able to switch it on and off as well.
Like, I mean, we give each other shit.
Yeah.
Like, we joke. Like, we talk. Like, they're just...
The banter.
Is, and it's not... But we're not, like, being, like, arrogant in front of other... we're fucking ring the bell. We just sold a house for record. Like, we're not... Like, it's the banter and, like, they're giving shit to each other and, like, that is, and if you can't do that, or it's just not, it doesn't work. But so going back to the culture, like making sure that they're the right fit, but that has come with many years of experience of like working out who's going to sit within your office. Like the amount of people I interview and say I'm so hungry. If I hear that word hungry again, I'm going to cut someone's head off. I can't. Like everyone's so
determined.
I'm so hungry. Like I just like it's not that. It's like what drive do they have? Like a lot of it actually comes down to like their internal fire. It's not they're hungry and I want to fucking make phone calls and do this. Like they just go out the door these days. So something I've also learned when people are chasing me, probably like you guys, like I've pushed back on people like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Because eventually they actually give up and you don't actually have to see them. So like people ask me like to go, can I do this podcast? No, I can't. I'm busy. Give me a call in 2 weeks. I could do it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And eventually like then I go, okay, no, I'll do it. Because they actually don't like, and that's how I also look at like when people approach us for.
So you want to show how serious they are.
Yeah. Most people drop off after the second time.
Yeah. So I got through.
Yeah, you got through. But so the cultural stuff comes from, a lot of it comes from their background, like where they've come from too, like were they in property management? Property management's always a great, part. Where did they come from? What other businesses have they come from? Have they come from an agency that's or show and it's a lot of it's their family makeup, their background, what partner they have. Do they have kids? Don't they have kids? Like there's lots of things we sort of look at, but the culture part of it is the most important part of our team.
Yeah, I mean you're only as good as your team, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot you can do with the nimble team as well. Taryn Williams was on the podcast, I think the previous episode, and she said one of the things she looks out for when hiring within her businesses is if they're a part of community, like a sporting community, to see if they're a team player. And I thought that was a really interesting one.
That's really
good,
yeah.
So
and we're huge in our community. Like we sponsor so many things. Like we probably each year do about 100 to 200 grand in like donations and sponsorship.
Yeah,
but
cool.
What do we get out of it? I don't know what we get out of it. I don't go looking like, well, why are you doing it? What do you get out of it? Like, it's like
there's no like expectation of return.
Yeah, and that's probably the best. I don't know how to explain it to people. That's the best way of explaining it. I just do it because like so many people in those communities are given to us, and we've flourished our business through it, and we don't sort of use it in our like sales pitch or like we give back to St Catherine's or Bronte Surf Club or Bronte Public or. Like the football teams that we sponsor, but it just you don't know what you get out of it. We don't do it to get anything out of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you should be giving selflessly. Like we give a tremendous amount of business to our partners, and sometimes we're like, oh, where the fuck's our business back? But you shouldn't really be expecting things back. It's what goes around comes around, and that's an element of karma as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, hiring policy. Is there any certain questions that you would ask someone in an interview or a recruitment strategy? So I'm sure there's a lot of agents out there that are struggling to grow their team, particularly agents that might be stepping in and sort of trying to get that first, second hire. Like, what are some of the things?
I think
something
I've
sort of touched on things,
been thinking about recently, because I've just been talking about a lot with Ivan and like Josh Fegan, who's another real estate coach I use. I didn't do it for the money. Like, I just got into it because I fucking loved it, and then the money came after. But I also didn't do it to go, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 or 4 years and do something else. I did it for the long game, and like so. The one question is the best thing to ask is, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what's your plan? Is this what do you want to be doing? Like, so most people go, I want to be an agent. I want to be selling houses. I want to be selling high-end houses in Double Bay. See you later. Like that's it takes 10 years for that. To for you to grow into something like that.
Yeah.
So it's more making sure that someone that you're employing is in it for the long, like it's a long game real estate, like most industries. It's,
yeah. Like that 10 years is a long time to commit to something, but that seems to be, the time that you do need to really start leveling up. And it's a lot of disparity between good agents and bad agents, right? But if you're just in it to make a bit of a cash grab, then it's not going to work, is it? And I think people see through that bullshit too. Like, no one's going to list with you if you're not a serious agent with a serious team behind you. So with your social media, because I know that you were completely sort of offline for a fair bit of your career, and then as of 2023, you've started to put a bit more emphasis into not only building your personal brand, but showcasing your team and showcasing everything you do outside of, just listing and selling. What was sort of the spark for that? And then how's that been since in terms of generating that awareness in the market?
So that was thanks to you and Sean Royal, who does all our social stuff, and he's like so passionate about it. Like, he's like part of it. He's great, and that's what we love about him.
I can't even inject anything in the WhatsApp group. It's just next level.
I know. I suppose what I started to think about it with social media is, for the last 20 years, all I've done to promote our sales other than phone calls is letterbox drops, just listed, just sold. Like, we would just bombard the eastern suburbs, and it really did help build our business. And I started to think, when's the last time I checked my letterbox? I've moved into my house in Vaucluse. I haven't opened a letterbox once in 4 years. So, like, how do I know who's selling in Vaucluse? I don't, because I don't fucking see the letters.
Surely there's no envelopes that can fit in there anymore.
No. So I started to think, well, a few things there. Like one, who actually really understands what we do? Like, we list and sell a lot of real estate, but what's like the best ones we've had the biggest amount of views is like our processes and Prue preparing houses, and Kenji like talking to people at an open house, or like the real nuts and bolts of what we do, and actually the marketplace understanding that has actually really helped build our sort of following.
And there's that stigma around agents and everything, but the what you're doing behind the scenes, like, not a lot of people can see that, right?
Yeah, like I think where do we get most of our hits from? It's probably from those.
I think like the more talk to camera and behind the scenes stuff is hands down the best, as opposed to
just listed, just what
they
help.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're good. Like I think we've got like 11. Sean's built it amazingly well over like last year.
Like, mate, he's done a phenomenal job.
He's done, like, it's been the best. Like, he's gone from like 7,000 to 11,000 followers, and they're all real followers.
That's it.
And I don't know who they are. They're probably mainly fucking real estate agents, but like it's definitely we've
now they're just going to copy it all.
No, but we've secured 3 listings that we know of through social media that's paid that investment with you guys probably threefold. But I see it as like it's just a social proof tool. So and it goes out. It goes out to everybody, and people share it, and like it's like to me, I look at it as a just listed, just sold letter in someone's letterbox. Someday someone's going to call you. But they've got to know you're relevant, you're active, you're in today's market. But I do see it as, I think one thing that I've made sure that we're building not my profile, but the other team members' profile. I think that's a really important part of it.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think like a lot of
I don't know, social media, I see most agents are, I don't think they use it the right way.
No, I was going to say that. I think a lot of people still think that you should only be running social media or ads if you're getting a return out of it. And I think you need to be looking at it from a touch point, and if you've got one direction of just doing emails and then trying to, do a sale irrespective of the product or service, and then they do the research and you're not popping up online, you don't have active social media following, or you don't even have any actual social media content, or your website's crap, all these touch points build the trust, which then hinders the sale. So for you guys, and I know you sort of don't have to do the advertising, but a lot of agents that I speak to, or anyone for that matter, they want to know immediately what return can I get out of that? And that's an important conversation to have. But the brand awareness and the brand building is much more powerful than just trying to run an ad and get a lead. And as you said, like, property is very much relationship focused and developing those and nurturing those relationships. And you simply can't get that through just running an ad and getting an opt-in. It's what goes on behind the scenes. And I think the creative play with what you're doing is way more powerful than just doing just sold or just listed.
Or me walking around the house saying how fucking good I am.
Yeah, and all the awards you won.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fully. So there's a lot of shifts going on in property. There's obviously been a lot of impact with interest rates, and there's been a bit of a hit in the last sort of quarter. Property prices falling in some areas between 5 and 10%. Upwards of 100, 200,000 the median price. What's your take on that? How have you seen the last sort of quarter with a bit of what I feel is a bit of a domino effect, or at least the start of the shockwave from, homeowners not being able to pay their repayments and then therefore having distressed property to sell?
Yeah, like my repayments have gone up, my loans have gone up triple, and I've got more loans. Like fuck, does it change the way you live and what you do? Yeah, of course it does. For someone that's living, we're lucky we sell another house and that helps pay down whatever you need to do. But people on fixed incomes, fixed wages, all the costs have gone up. Their school fees have gone up. Their mortgages have gone up. Their spreadsheets are now out of whack.
Groceries are going up. Everything.
Their offset account's been eaten away. They've had 500 grand offset account. That's now down to 200. Fuck, we need to sell.
Fuck, yeah.
So there's a lot of that happening. Like they try not to tell us that, but you work it out pretty quickly. It's definitely caused stress. There's more divorces, because of it. There's more. You can just feel it like that, and it feels like. So what we're seeing, yes, it's definitely changed the marketplace. It's definitely made it harder for us as agents. We're lucky that I've been through these cycles before, so we know how to prepare the vendor. So we're always sort of 3 months ahead of where we need to be as an agency and team. So we're not in a period where you're not selling anything because we're ahead of the market, because we do follow global markets, interest rates globally, inflation rates, all that. So we know sort of where things are sort of heading. But everyone seems to think that interest rates, when they go down, the market is going to go up. Like I actually think it's going to be the opposite. Like the interest rates went up 13 times, the market went up 10%, which wasn't meant to happen. So I think we're sort of at the middle of where we're going to be. I think there's more pain to come. There's probably another 3 to 6 months of it. And interest rates, they need to probably go down another 1 or 2% for people to be normalised, but they're probably not going to go down anywhere near that. So I think this is sort of like the norm, give or take like 1% for the next sort of 3 or 4 years, which means the market's probably going to be very flat and probably up or down a few percent now moving forward for the next few years.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
a lot of people make their money off like using equity to go into the next property because they make money over such a short period of time in Sydney real estate. We're not going to see that for quite some time, I believe.
Yeah, right. So for investors, I'm settling on my unit, bit of equity built up, and that was one of my considerations. Do I go into another property? But yeah, what advice would you give investors over this period?
Be making sure that you're buying it for like a long term,
not just short term flip.
Yeah, there's no short term flips at the moment.
Yeah.
Like we sold 4 properties last month that in the 4 to 5 million bracket that were bought. All the 5 properties were bought between 2 and 2.5 years ago. They all went for less.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
And then hotspots, like I know that there's some areas that are going to be way more impacted. What do you feel are the areas that are going to be most impacted by this or potentially remain flat? And then what are some potential new hotspots? Because there's always going to be growth, right?
Yeah, so our biggest hotspot we see at the moment, because we sell in all the eastern suburbs, is like this, whenever anyone asks me, where would you invest? I always say you want to buy like near a train line. I think is always a good thing.
Okay,
So
Transport.
Wallara, Paddo, Edgecliff, Bondi, probably the hottest marketplace we deal in at the moment is South Bondi, like where sort of Toddy's is around there, like that corridor between
Just because of toddies?
Yeah. Between Birrell and Bondi Road. And what we see there is because you can walk to the beach, walk to the train station, so it's a lifestyle plus easy commute. So I'm always a big player on areas where there's no more stock that's going to be built. There's like good transport and there's big lifestyle reasons. Like Bondi is always going to be like that, and then the outskirts are there, then Paddo, Wallara. I just like they're blue chip areas that always have a high volume of tenants wanting to be there. And also, depth of buyer. So they're the areas I'd remain in. Like I wouldn't be going into, the outer skirts like Maroubra, like around. I think when the market changes, there's like 3 rims of property in Sydney. What happens is market change, everyone goes in one rim.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. And then like the difference between, new builds, existing builds from apartments. So I know the cost of building now has increased so much as well. And going back onto that unique, scarcity within a building versus getting into a huge complex where there is just too much stock there.
Well, I think you've just experienced going through the new build.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you like we just said on the way in, it's 2
2
years
delay.
delay. Yeah. Imagine if you had sold your place to line up the settlement.
Yeah.
And now you've had to rent for 2 years. You've torn up 250 grand in rent.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
That's
essentially what I've done. I had another property, sold it. Now I've been renting for 2 or 3 years.
How come we didn't sell it for you?
Down in Cronulla.
Oh,
Unless you want to go down the Shire.
I'm going to leave. So, I think new builds. My wife and I just bought a new build a year ago in Paddington, which is meant to be complete next year. They haven't even started building.
Yeah.
But we're lucky because we don't need to live in it, and it's probably gone up 20%. So, that's great for us. But for I don't know, new builds, unless they're like a boutique development in a good area, I'd stay clear of them.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I had a new build, and it was part of a bigger complex. It's still fucking getting built as we speak, and I bought that when I was 21. I'm 35 now, so that whole complex is still getting sort of innovated. But yeah, this new one is a boutique one. So yeah, that's it's got that level of I guess scarcity with it, So yeah, you wouldn't go back into a higher complex. Next 5 to 10 years, what's the outlook look like for you, the team, and the market in itself?
Obviously been doing what I do. I've been married now for 6 years to my wife Bridget, which has been great. Obviously, would love to have a family. That'll probably slow me up a little bit, not too much.
Yeah, you reckon?
Probably not. And that's been good. Bridget, my wife, for the last 10 years, been part of the foundation of why I've done so well too, which has, definitely helped.
Absolutely.
To where I am today, which has been great. But I think just keep compounding what we're doing day in, day out. Make sure you don't get burnt out. Have probably longer holidays. You probably. I was watching the starting five with LeBron. It's a new NBA Netflix series.
Yeah, okay.
And I look at someone like LeBron James. He's now 22 years in the NBA, and he's
40
still,
now, isn't he? Still playing,
but he's still number one.
Yeah.
But they've shrunk his minutes. He gets his shit. He's on for fucking 8 minutes every half or something. But he's still got longevity. So maybe that's what you do. I learned from that. I go, okay, maybe I've got to just shrink what I do, still work 100%, but maybe take one day off a week. I don't know. That's not something I've thought of immediately. But you got to keep innovating yourself, working out your own body on how you, as you age or how you get, and make sure you stay relevant. And real estate's you're very easily forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're always going to number 2, agent. If you're number 2, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're almost as good as your last month, right?
Yeah, only as good as your last sale, I say.
Yeah, dead set.
It was just yesterday, so
get on the phones quick.
No, quick.
Got to end the podcast quick. I think you've referenced Ivan. I know Ivan's doing a lot of coaching, and he was successful in building Bressick Whitney and is helping Macleay Longhurst a lot. One of my brother's close friends and my friend.
He's starting to get a bit too good. He's coming into our area.
I heard.
You've got to cut him down. No, Macleay's good. We're good mates and competitors. But
doing really well.
But I've still got Josh Fegan and Ivan Bresic. I've got real estate coaches. Even sitting here today, I've learned from you on your business, how you're making sure your guys are doing more calls. You've always got to learn. And
sure.
Everyone goes, why do you have a real estate coach? It's life. Life coaching too.
It's naive to think that you can do it, and even at the top, sustain such a level you're at without getting that support with people who've done it before.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got an agency advisor. He's helping us restructure our business. So right now we're predominantly in the advertising space. That market's shifting a lot because it's becoming a little bit more autonomous. So we're doing a lot more strategic advisory with businesses in finding any inefficiencies in their digital strategy. So we're going one step further and going to an office, and there'll be an ad department, creative department, web department.
Yeah, nice.
We're structuring that. It's taken us a year and a half to even get to the point of getting a shareholder agreement. Next year will be office space, but we wouldn't be able to do it without an advisor, which, he's been there,
do you
done
reckon
that.
That advisor, from where you were a year ago to now, you're in two different worlds.
100%. And the whole mentality and outlook, like we'll just sort of ingrained into one vertical of marketing. Now we're spread across a whole bigger picture. And this new agency is going to be going into a much bigger market too, where we're predominantly SMEs, businesses doing between $1 million, 50 million on average. And this new business will be sort of your multinationals, which, that's going to be a whole nother ball game.
Well, I see like it's interesting you say that, like you're great at what you do, I'm good at what I do, but we still have like people that are making us better. Like I see real estate agents, like when they go, why am I being coached by someone that hasn't ever done real estate or did it 10 years ago? How are they relevant? It's like a real easy excuse to sort of get out of it. But like it's someone with experience. Like when you sit down with someone that's like, like Mark Boris, I did a podcast with him. Fuck, that guy's like the best mortgage broker ever. Like these guys have so much experience, so much you can learn from. You asking questions and like these are the things that you sort of pick up as you go, and you get, you got to be always open minded. Like that's where I think when you you got blinkers on, and you go, I'm doing it this way, and you never evolve. Like the way we sell now versus 10 years ago is so different, and we keep evolving. Like we keep doing different things and like trying to get better and be ahead of all these like McClay Longhursts and people that are coming after us. We've got to stay relevant and better.
100%. Yeah. And like, any market's going to shift it. If you're not ahead of that and you don't have someone holding you accountable, then that's when you can trip up very easily. Aside from, Ivan and the team and I guess your other partners in PPD, who are some other people that you lean in on, as your SWAT team?
My wife, Bridget, my friends, all my brothers, my 4 brothers, Tim, Charles,
Will's doing
Will,
well
James.
back in Byron. He's in Byron now.
Byron, Will and I ask each other for advice. We refer each other business.
Yeah, nice.
He owes me a fair bit of money now, actually.
Pay up, Will.
Yeah. And my sister, Susanna, she's great. My dad has been big. And my mum, so it's, all family. Yeah,
nice one. And how much do you credit back to, your success and I guess your motivation to family? I mean, obviously it's been a huge component, right?
It's probably like half of where I am today, if not more,
There you go.
Because it was ingrained in me, like growing up, sitting in the car, going on holidays, listening to dad on the phone.
So it's in your blood.
Closing out, someone buying a tractor from him or something,
That's funny. Yeah. I saw my old man, he was in, cars as well, panel beating.
Yeah.
Then he went into real estate, then he went into clubs, then restaurants, then hotels. So he's just a wheeler and dealer.
Yeah, nice.
So he's got that ability to shape a deal, and he's anti-technology. So it's all phone and human.
But it's like someone like that with my dad. It's just their charisma, their personality, how they talk to people. Most people
constantly hunting the next deal.
It's either you're street smart or book smart. Like you're probably a bit like me. You're street smart, fucking But that's because you've grown up with that around you. You know how to talk to people, and it's definitely that part. That's why.
Mate. There wasn't a lot of mother nurturing. I think
it's like get out there and do it.
Yeah, it's like fucking. We were living in Cronulla. I went to school in Stanmore at Newington, and it wasn't like we'll drive you into school like a lot of parents did. It was, there's a station, go and do your best, follow the other kids. It was just like, go out and do it. I
bet half the time you didn't go to school either.
Well, looking back on it, I shouldn't have. Mate, I guess like work and life balance, or work blend, as we should probably refer to it as, and taking some time off and traveling, keeping fit and healthy, and sort of maintaining a healthy outlook. What are some of the things you do on some of the days you might have off, if there even is that time?
Well, I saw you at Ministry of Sound the other day, didn't I?
That's a hobby.
That was good.
Mate, my back was fucked. I had to leave at like 7 o'clock.
Did you?
I couldn't even enjoy myself that night. I was fucking spewing.
Bit buckled, were you?
No, mate, I drove.
Wow.
I left at 7.
I think the 2 hours in the morning where I train and have on my own is really good, but I go out for a dinner once a week, go out for a good dinner somewhere, drink a good bottle of wine.
Yeah, it's still socialising.
Socialise, like all of that. Tonight I'm going to Travis Scott at the stadium, which will be good.
Yeah, man.
We've got 10 friends going to have dinner before the Centennial, then go walk down there, watch that.
Yeah, sick.
Things like that, try and have, the socialising aspect, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, I think before we finish up, I'd like to sort of say, if you were retrospective and you could look, back in the clock and ask yourself something when you're 18 years old, what advice would you give yourself?
to all, like I think I get asked this question a lot. What advice would I give myself is, I think follow what you're passionate. Like don't go with something. You got to have to, if you're 18, you've got to probably try 3 or 4 different things before you work out which way you're going to go. Like I think I see so many people that did like 3-4 years of uni to be a lawyer, then a year later they're working at a cafe. Follow something that you're passionate about. Don't like it. I was like, I just fell into it. So follow something that you're passionate, definitely, and try and find that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. You don't need to find it when you're 18. You can find it when you're 25. So there's no point working if you don't love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think people do get caught up of like, oh fuck, I'm in my 30s or 40s. I still don't know what I'm doing. But I think life is a constant learning phase.
Exactly,
And like, there's no better time
you can always
than now to
change.
start. Yeah, that's right. And I guess for any agents out there, listening to this or watching this, that are gaining sort of inspiration, motivation, because I know there's probably a lot of people that look up to you and want to get advice from you. What's some of the things that you would say to an agent either looking to get into the market or at least like, looking to excel?
You got to get in with, firstly, you probably should be starting in property management, doing that for 3 or 4 years, learning how to work with people talking back at you, the hard sort of conversations, making sure you get in with the right group or right agency is going to give you the right culture, and think of it's a long game.
Yeah, so learning from the best first rather than being naive and thinking you can start your own firm straight away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, mate, appreciate your
Thanks,
time.
Blake.
I'll let you get back to your busy Friday, and mate, it's been great chatting, and look forward to seeing the success over the next 5 to 10 years and ongoing.
You too. Thank you,
Cheers, mate.